Hello, pals. It's Pastor Amy. It has been such a joy to share with you these stories from the last week of Jesus' life here on earth as we get ready for Easter celebrations in a few weeks. It's not that many weeks away, and there are so many important things that we learned from Jesus in the last little bit of his life that we need to remember in these days. Today's story is coming from several places in the Bible, but maybe mostly from the book of Mark, chapter 14, starting in verse 12. So if you'd like to find one place where this story is written about in God's book, the Bible, you can look in Mark, chapter 14, starting in verse 12. I'm going to be sharing the story today from the Read, Wonder, Listen Story Bible. And there's one picture I wanted to share with you before I start reading that shows the picture of Jesus and his disciples sharing the Last Supper together. Here we go. At last, the Passover came. That evening, Jesus and his friends and family gathered in a room upstairs to share the feast. Together they heard the story of how God had once led their people out of a place of tears and misery and into a whole new life. As they shared the special foods, they remembered the different parts of the story. Salt water and bitter herbs reminded them of the tears that their ancestors had cried when they were slaves in Egypt. The paste of the ground fruit reminded them of the mud bricks that the slaves had to make. Unleavened bread spoke of how quickly they had to flee. There was no time to let the bread rise. Roast lamb made them think of the blood that had marked their homes the night death passed over them. Every bite they shared made them feel a part of the ancient story, part of something bigger. Then Jesus did something new. He took a loaf of bread and said a prayer of thanks, and he broke it into pieces and gave it to those gathered at the table. This is my body given for you. Then he took a cup of deep red wine. This is my blood, he said, poured out for you. Whenever you drink it, remember me. Everyone was quiet. They were remembering images, memories, words, and stories. They danced in their hearts and minds like shadows from the flickering lamps. Bread was seeds falling on the ground, green plants springing up, many kernels of grain ground into flour and formed into one loaf. Baked over a fire, it becomes something new. It became something shared. It was manna in the desert. It was a picnic in the wilderness. Wine came from plump grapes growing from a single vine. It was crushed underfoot. Juice collected in stone jars. In the darkness, it changes into something new, something to be shared. A wedding feast, a dinner with Zacchaeus, a celebration of lost and found. Bread and wine, such simple things, but they point to great mysteries. One from many, life from death, transformation, becoming something new. Every bite, every sip made them feel a part of the story, part of something bigger. What Jesus did next shocked them all. He knelt down with a basin of water and a linen cloth, and he tenderly washed their feet. At first, some of them said, "No." It seemed wrong that Jesus should do the work of the servant, but he insisted. Long ago, God decided to shape a new kind of people who would bring peace and blessing to the world. Part of my work has been to show you what this means. What does it look like when God makes you into something new? How does it happen? What do you have to do? Jesus wrung out the towel. For one thing, you need to stop worrying about who is the most important. Things are upside down in the kingdom of God. Masters, wash the feet of their servants. Here is another thing. I am the vine and you are the branches. We are part of each other. We are connected. We share the same life. So stop looking for differences. Look for ways that you are one with me and one with each other. Above all, love each other. Love each other the way that I have loved you. The room was full of warmth and love and light. No one but Jesus noticed when Judas slipped out the door into the cold, dark night. Friends, this message of something old being made new, of something beautiful coming from something that was just ashes before, is such a big part of God's story and God's plan for us. I pray this week that you will listen to the ways that God calls us to be made new, and that you, in hearing this story and in thinking about it, will be a part of the mystery that is the way God's kingdom works and the way God's stubborn love sticks with us. Friends, I hope you have a great week. I can't wait to share next week's story with you. Bye-bye.